if you didn't find the garden things that you wanted under the tree this year, or if you have that extra holiday cash that you don't know what to do with, then this is the video for you. I am going to be sharing some things, some tools, some decor that are fun, practical, and perfect to get the 2025 gardening season going. If you've been around here for a while, you know that my garden is full. Between the raised beds, in-ground flower beds, and containers, there is always something growing or needing my attention. It's a lot to keep up with, especially during the busiest months when the garden is in full swing. And I am not complaining because I absolutely love it. But some days, it feels like as soon as I cross one thing off the to-do list, 5 more pop up to take its place. Like, didn't I use weed this garden bed yesterday? When you're juggling that much, watering, weeding, planting, harvesting, repeat, it's so easy to feel overwhelmed. And trust me, I've been there. Over the years, I've tried all kinds of tools and gadgets that promise me to make gardening faster and easier. I can't even tell you how many times I have purchased something and thought, this is it. This is going to be the tool that helps me to save time and money to do whatever it is in the garden. And a lot of those miracle tools end up forgotten in my garage, taking space, or worse, in the donation pile, only after 1 or 2 uses. So today I want to share the ones that really work for me, the tools that help me stay on top of everything without feeling like I'm constantly falling behind. So let's dive in. And these are not in any specific order, they're just to help me keep track of them. Okay, the first in my notes, it's my lovely small mini rake. Let's talk about one of my favorite tools. I know, this rake is super tiny. It's very small, it's silly even. And my husband definitely likes to tease me for using it, but honestly, this thing has become a real gem in my garden. And it didn't cost me that much at all. I believe that I paid $14, $15. I picked it up at Home Depot, and while it might not be the most impressive looking tool in my garage, it is perfect for those smaller jobs. It's ideal for getting into those tight spaces around in my raised beds and even in the containers where a big rake just wouldn't fit. And I tried to go back to when I purchased this small rake from Home Depot, and I think that I got it in 2019. And unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, I tried to use it for something that it was really not meant to be, and I broke it. Yeah, I broke my lovely, lovely tool. I had this tool since 2019, and it did the job every time I needed it. When it comes to spreading mulch or spreading compost or just cleaning around a grassy area, this tool was perfect for me. And I am talking it from the side of home gardening in a small urban space. Obviously, if I have acres of land where I need bigger tools, this wouldn't work. But for me, for the way that I garden, this tool is amazing. So pretty soon, whenever I find myself at Home Depot, I am going to spend another $15, and hopefully I'll get this tool to last me for the next 5-6 years. This may or may not be coffee. Now, the next thing that I think that every gardener should have is not necessarily a tool. I'm talking about baskets and vases, and they absolutely deserve a spot on this list. These are some of the most underrated helpers in my garden, I believe. Whether I'm out harvesting veggies, snipping some flowers for a bouquet, or just collecting garden odds and ends, baskets make my life easier. I have a whole collection at this point. Some I picked up at a thrift store, some were gifts, and I have purchased baskets that were intended for something else in my home, but they ended up being used in the garden. When it comes to flowers, vases are my go-to for turning a quick garden walk into a beautiful arrangement. I love having a mix of vases that are glass or ceramic or just something that can hold water well. And I don't know, in my opinion, it just makes the arrangement, my floral arrangement, even better. Plus, whenever you find yourself with a collection of vases or vases indoors, it pushes you to actually go outside and cut yourself a few blooms from your own garden. What I love about baskets and vases as well is that they're practical, but they're also beautiful. I feel like sometimes baskets even make my harvest look a little bit more romantic, even if it's just a collection of oversized zucchini and green tomatoes. And the rice vase can turn a handful of zinnias into something even more special. Now let's talk about one tool that is just a must in my garden. If you put together your holiday cash, or if you found yourself that you didn't quite get what you were hoping for, this is definitely a must for every gardener. And this is definitely one that I'll gladly spend some good money on: a solid hose reel. I have 3 of them and they're all from HoseLink, and let me just say, they have been worth every penny. If you have ever been wrestling with a tangle heavy hose, you know how quickly watering can turn into a nightmare. These reels keep everything neat, tidy, and most importantly, easy to use when I need them. And it's not just me who's obsessed. I have found that my mom loves them. She has the first original hose reel that I purchased from HoseLink years ago. And the only reason why I gave that to her is because I wanted to upgrade mine to the charcoal color, which all of the 3 that I have in my garden are charcoal. And she even loved it so much that I got her a second one. And now a little birdie told me that Santa brought my sister a charcoal hose reel as well. So honestly, I didn't think a hose reel could be such a game changer, but here we are. They have made watering easier, they save me so much time, and they help me enjoy my garden without the usual hose-related frustration. If you're on the fence, trust me, this is one of those tools that once you get them, you're going to fall in love with them. The next one on my list is trellises. And yes, they're not a tool, but I mean, every garden deserves a nice trellis. Whether you're growing climbing vegetables like peas or beans, or growing some perennials like clematis, or just looking to add some structure and charm to your space, trellises are a game changer. The great thing about trellises is that you can go as simple or as fancy as you want. You can pick up a basic one for as little as $20, $30, and it still will do the job perfectly. But if you're like me and you love a good DIY project, you can go all out and design your own. For my kitchen garden, I built trellises using wood and metal panels. And when I say I built, I really mean my husband built. I just kind of help him a little. And they have been so worth the effort. Not only do they support my plants, but they add so much character to this space, in my opinion. Plus, there's just something special about growing your own plants on something that somebody special made for you. So whether you're grabbing a simple one from your local Menards or hardware store, or designing your dream trellis setup, is one of those tools that pays off year after year. And I am going to add this last one because I think that every garden, whether you have a small urban garden in the city or you have acres of land, I think that every garden deserves one of these. And I am talking about bird baths. I think of them as more as garden decor, and I'm looking at the one where it's empty right now because, well, it's freezing outside, but they are decor with a purpose. During those crazy hot summer days, especially here in Indiana, in the last few years, we have been reaching almost the 100 sometimes. Adding a bird bath here and there, it's such a simple way to help out the birds that visit your garden. Watching them splash around or stop by for a quick drink always makes me smile. And it's a great reminder that gardens are not just for us, but they're also for the wildlife. Beyond being practical, bird baths add so much charm to any space, whether you go for a classic stone design, something modern, or even something thrifted that you repurpose. They create a little focal point that feels timeless. It's almost like the final touch that puts everything together. I am planning to add at least 2 more bird baths, maybe even a water fountain to my garden this year. Fingers crossed that I find just the right piece for it. So those are just some of my favorite things that make gardening a little bit more easier and fun. If you got a little cash, I hope these ideas are helpful, but honestly, anytime is a good time to treat yourself or your garden. Whether you're getting something practical or just something to brighten your space, it's all worth it. Thanks for watching and happy gardening.